Okay, in this lesson, we're going to talk about what happens between fathers and daughters when the father is not blessed his daughter. Again, she can respond one of two ways. She can either reject his blessing and cut him off, I don't need him, or she longs after his blessing. And it sets her up in marriage and in her adult life for sort of an entirely different pattern. So let's look at this one where she's cut her father off and she said, I don't need him. He didn't bless me. I don't care if he blesses me. I shared one story earlier in another module where a daughter desperately wanted the approval and blessing of her dad for her grades because academic performance was really important to him. And she brought a report card home, remember, and she had all A's and one B, and he rejected her because she had a B. And the next semester she had all A's, and he said, well, obviously the classes you took were too easy if you can just breeze through them like that. And this daughter then shut her father out, cut him off, I don't need him, and started a life of devastation, really, when she puts a wall around her heart. I don't need you, I don't need people, but I do need love. I want people to love me, but I'm going to be self-sufficient, independent, all that sort of thing. So let's look at how this plays out. She's predisposed not to receive love from a man. Now you can imagine how that's going to affect marriage, because when she marries a man, she's going to view her husband through the image of her father. And she is going to expect to be rejected and not approved of by her husband. She expects to be rejected, not approved of by other men. So if she's in the workforce, in the marketplace, if she has a man for a boss, she's going to expect he has it out for me. He isn't going to accept me. Nothing I do is going to be good enough. He doesn't care about me. And so she's going to be set up to expect to be rejected by men. And expectations we have in our hearts are many times self-fulfilling prophecies. Now, in her own identity, her identity is probably going to be established in self again. It's like, my dad doesn't care about me, so I don't care about him. I don't care about what he thinks. I don't care about what men think. I don't care about what my husband thinks. I don't care about what anybody thinks. I'm independent, self-sufficient. I have no needs. She can put her identity in her femininity. She can use her own beauty and promiscuity, for example, to attract men, but she uses them to build herself up. In her career, she can be a workaholic, striving to prove I can outdo men, I can do better than men, I'll show him. That's in her heart. With money, she can hold on to money, have a deep fear of lack, need to accumulate as well, just like a man who's been rejected by his dad in that way. Power and status, again, she can be shallow and manipulative. I'll use men to get what I want. In ministry, this woman could be a ministry superstar if she's got giftings as well, because she will position herself to be an entrepreneur in business or in ministry. She might have some very good technical skills of speaking or teaching or writing, but in her personal life, there's just a wall there that says, I don't need you. I don't need anybody. And you can see in relationship with God, without realizing it, people that have put that wall there with men have actually put a shell, and they're actually shutting God out, and they don't know that. I've seen some women who put their identity in their role as a mom. I will be super mom. I will do everything for my children. I will bless my children, pour my life into my children, and I will be the greatest mom on planet Earth. Or she will pour her energy and time and identity into any role in which she can excel and dispel that feeling that came from her dad, you're worthless, you don't measure up, you'll never amount to anything. Okay, the potential results are, obviously, she is set up for a lot of conflict with male authorities. So if she has a boss in the workforce, she's going to have conflict with him probably. She doesn't trust him. She doesn't believe he's going to be for her. She doesn't need or trust other people in general. She's going to be insensitive to the needs of others, be goal-oriented and task-oriented and pressing forward, hard and harsh in relationships, and she may reproduce in her own life the very qualities she hated in her father, and people will later on say to her, you're just like your dad. She may not act feminine. She may be very aggressive, very forthright, very forceful, that sort of thing. And there's a potential door into lesbianism here. I haven't seen it a lot, but on occasion I've ministered to people, and this has been the door into homosexual relationship for this woman, where she has been so wounded and hurt by men that she says, I don't need them. I don't need any of them. I do need love, but not from a man. So she's rejected all men because of the initial wounding that came from her father. And then if she has projected the image of her father onto various boyfriends or husbands or men that she's been involved with, she will set herself up to be rejected and hurt over and over and over and over again. And I remember meeting one woman who was about to get divorced for the third time. And I said to her, and she was telling me the story, well, our first husband, he was like this, and second one was an addict, and the third one, was abusive, and this and that. And I said, how do you account for all this? And she thought for a moment, and she said, well, I guess I just don't know how to pick them. And I said to her, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but has it ever dawned on you that perhaps you're the seed carrier, and it doesn't much matter what field you plant your seed in, the fruit, the crop is going to come up about the same, because you're carrying a bitterness in your heart toward your dad, and you're projecting that on every man that you get involved in with an expectation of being rejected. You've got a wall there, and for this woman, it's like a glass wall that invites the husband to come in, but the moment he does, she rejects him and shuts him out because of the fear that he's going to hurt her, like her dad did. So she's overtly, oftentimes, so the relationship in marriage is this: she can be overtly disrespectful and rebellious, like, I know more than you, I don't need to listen to you, I don't need to pay attention to you, because of the wounding from her dad that made her feel worthless. So she's not letting anybody tell her what to do anymore. She craves love. What she's really craving is blessing, love, affirmation that should have come from her dad, but she won't open up to her husband. So she sends him a really strange message like, please come love me. And the moment he comes to try, he bumps his nose against a wall, and she doesn't let him in. Okay? Her husband is unable to please her, and the reason is because she rejects him because she expects that he doesn't really accept her. She can be highly critical of her husband because of the bitterness in her heart toward her dad. She may be very unresponsive sexually because it's like, I don't need you, I'm not opening to you, I don't care about you, and that can be very hurtful to her husband. The husband could feel unjustly accused, like she's falsely accusing me, she's blaming me for things that were not in my heart. He is unable to ever please her, and the reason is because she rejects him. She's got that wall there, and he feels dishonored. And so that can happen in relationship. Now let's look at the next relationship where the father again has not blessed his daughter, wounded his daughter, but she has the opposite response. So she is wanting her father's blessing. And so she's going to strive after blessing and acceptance and love from her dad and from a man. So in her heart, she's saying, I'll do whatever I need to be accepted and approved of, especially by a man. So her identity becomes established in other people. See, the other one that has cut the father off usually puts identity in self. I can do it, I'm independent. This one puts identity in others. She cares very, very deeply what other people think of her. She cares what her husband thinks, what her children think. She cares about what her hero thinks, her boss thinks, her pastor thinks, her friends, other people, her sisters, her brothers. She cares what everybody thinks, and everything impacts her because in the depths of her heart, she's striving, would somebody please love me? Would somebody fill me with the love I never got from my dad? And what it's like is this woman has a black hole on the inside that craves love, needs love, wants love. So she tends to be highly sensitive to the needs of other people, compassionate, caring for others. There's an undue striving to be accepted, especially by men. She wants authority figures, men in her life to accept her, to love her, to give to her the blessing that her father never gave her. It's potentially possible in early years that she can be flirtatious or promiscuous, meaning she will use her feminine prowess to attract men to give to her what her father never gave her, which is blessing, affirmation, love. She many times has her feelings highly more developed than logic. What that means is, and this is not always true, not always characteristic, but sometimes these people are what is characterized as a dumb blonde. What I mean by that is they can be highly creative, they can be highly prophetic if they're spiritual people, they can be very sensitive, but it's like they're not logical. They can't read a map, they can't do logical things, and of course many times people laugh at them because of that. And it's just that they have, in a sense, rejected any part of the masculine side in them that would remind them of their father. And what I mean by that is everybody has a certain feminine side, masculine side. Not that I'm saying that people are, there's gender confusion or something like that, but she has just rejected the parts of her personality that would remind her of her dad and shut them down. And so sometimes these people these women set themselves up to be characterized as the dumb blonde who sometimes do things that are funny to other people, and sometimes do things that are illogical, that sort of thing. She usually is highly self-critical. So she finds everything wrong with herself. She has very little inner confidence, has a struggle to really put herself out there because of the fear of being rejected, and it's so important to her that everybody like her. It's so important to her that she be accepted. So her relationship in marriage is that usually she's overtly submissive to her husband, not like the first one who's rebellious and I know what's more than you and you don't know what's going on. No, this one loves her husband. She's submissive to her husband, but she clamors after his love and attention and virtually smothers him. And the black hole thing in her, it's like she can never get enough. No matter how much he loves her, no matter how much he pours into her, there's a craving for more, for more, for more. And I've talked to many of these husbands that are frustrated. It's like, there's nothing it doesn't matter how much I give to her, how much I tell her I love her, how much I hold her, how much I cuddle her, how many gifts I buy her, how much I try to do from her. There's something inside that still needs more. And without realizing it, this wife will make her husband her God. Because the truth is, only God can fill up that black hole. And the way that this is solved is by this woman getting her heart open to the Lord, receiving an impartation of blessing from God that she never did receive from her dad. And when that fills up that black hole, the fear, I'm not going to be loved, I'm not valuable, goes away. I have found also that this woman can be potentially subject to addictions. That can be another potential problem. That doesn't have to do with relationship and marriage, but she may look to substances to try to solve the deep, deep feeling, I'm worthless, I have no value, I'm not loved, I mean nothing. And that can be a potential problem in this particular pattern as well. She may be possessive and jealous of her husband because he's her God. And so if any other woman ever pays any attention to him, or it appears that there's any kind of competition or he's interested in anybody else, it drives her nuts because he is her God. And so she needs him to meet all of her needs. Depression, self-criticism can emotionally drain the husband. I mean, it's a drain in trying to minister to this black hole. No matter how hard he tries to love her, it's never enough. And what she does, in essence, without realizing it, on the wedding day, she has a whole bunch of unpaid emotional bills from her father. So she's been accumulating these for years and years and years. He didn't bless me. He cursed me. He wounded me. He did this. He did that. And she's accumulated all that. She's actually got these unpaid emotional bills behind her back. And on the wedding day, when the pastor says, I pronounce you man and wife, she presents those unpaid bills. Oh, good. Now you're going to pay all these unpaid emotional bills that my father let accumulate in my life. And of course, no husband can do that. It's not possible. Only God can do that. So many times the husband feels unjustly accused, he feels unable to please her, frustrated, inadequate, sometimes smothered, like, I can't, I don't have my own life. This wife consumes me with her emotional need. And again, if you see that in yourself or in a daughter or daughter-in-law, the solution to that is she needs a deep impartation of the love of God that fills up that black hole. She needs to continue coming before the Lord again and again and again and again, getting heart open to God, letting God identify the lies, remove the lies, replace them with truth, identify the fear, replace it with love, identify the darkness in her heart, replace it with light, and coming and allowing the Lord to fill her up, because there's not a man on planet Earth that can meet that need in her. So this is the fourth one. So we've talked about 4 adult life patterns and how it impacts people's marriages, how it impacts their adult life. And these are how a son can respond in 2 ways to the lack of blessing from a father, and how a daughter can respond in 2 ways to the lack of blessing from a father. So we're going to look at the other 2 that have to do with relationship with a mother, and then we'll look at the combination of these 2 in marriage, and again, allowing the Lord to minister to us and minister to our children, and allowing us to identify these patterns and bless our children to break the power of these flesh patterns. These are the patterns of how our flesh works in response to having not been blessed. Let me just pray as we conclude this lesson. So, Father, I thank you for every daughter listening, for every one of us, Lord, that we're not blessed by a father as a son or a daughter. God, would you identify the need, and would you pour out your grace and meet the need in our hearts? And Lord, for our children, adult children especially, God, would you give us wisdom how to pour blessing and life into our adult children to meet the need where they were not blessed as children. Thank you, Father, for all that you're doing in our family and establishing a culture of blessing in the name of Jesus. Amen.